Welcome to the Indie Bandits Twitch channel and YouTube. We're up to episode 3 now of our attempt to take over medieval Europe. I'm Jimmy and I'm here with Joe. Joe, how are you doing?
I'm not too bad. Not too bad. Looking forward to kicking some arse and not taking names because there's too many names in history.
There's a lot of names. A lot of names. So a quick recap of where we were last time. We, way ahead of schedule, eliminated the Scottish faction from the game. Apparently every single one of the important Scottish characters was all hanging out in one place at one time, and they all got killed in a big battle, so that's good for us. What it does mean, though, is a little bit ahead of schedule in terms of knocking out factions. So before we go fight France, I thought it might be better to spend a bit of time this episode cleaning up the British Isles and Ireland and see if we can't take over all of these settlements and castles first, if you think that's a good idea.
Well, that's a very Anglo-centric way of putting it, isn't it, Jimmy? Cleaning up the British Isles, by which you mean getting rid of the Welsh, Irish and Scottish.
Not getting rid of them, just,
making them subservient to the English
control, that's all. We're trying to recreate a little bit of history here, without condoning it, I think is the an important caveat to add to all of that.
Well, I've done a bit of research of what would have happened back in the day, from last episode. So obviously, you said we eradicated the Scots in this game, and the place name I can't remember, Carnarvon, maybe
down in Wales, yeah.
Yeah, we left that, and that's just a little rebel town, isn't it? Which we'll be cleaning up today. Yeah. And I'm right in thinking that the Pope didn't like us attacking the Scots.
No, but we may have gotten around that by killing the faction off.
Yeah. If you can't get mad at us for attacking the Scots if they are no more.
Yeah, there are no Scots now.
Technically, you are correct, sir. Yeah, and we married off some sons.
We did. A couple of them got some brides, and then we married off the daughter as well. So everyone's married off, and
all shacked up.
Should be expecting a few kids to come along in the next few turns, if everything goes well.
Yeah. Well, in the real world, in the time that we were playing, Robert, the Duke of Normandy, would have made an attempt to invade England. He was one of William the Conqueror's sons, and he got Normandy when one of the other ones, name escapes me now, got England. I think he goes by Rufus, but he was actually called William too. But he died, remember, in that weird hunting accident. Oh yes. And then Henry I took over. Right. So Henry I in the real world would currently have England, and then his brother would come and try and invade it and fail. And that was in 1101. And just 5 years later, Henry I would defeat and capture Robert of Normandy, and if memory serves, hold him prisoner until about 1134 or something mad cruel like that.
Yeah, right.
Similarly, a few years, this is not similarly, but it is kind of weird and cruel, he would marry off his 8-year-old daughter to the German Emperor Henry V to make her the Empress of Germany, and she was being aged 8 at the time is a bit weird. And I guess people understood that as just a diplomatic move, but it's still kind of gross, pimping out an 8-year-old girl. Anyway.
Yeah, I feel like the it's kind of gross could be applied to a lot of things that happened at this time period.
Yeah. And finally, the last thing of note I had was that in 1114, Henry I invaded Wales. Which is what we're going to do. So we're a little behind on that, but we will get round to it, clearly, in this episode. And in the end, and I can't pronounce their names, so just 2 Welsh princes with names that I cannot pronounce because my Welsh is not up to scratch. They ended up submitting to Henry I of Wales. Henry I of England. The Welsh princes submitted, and then, that was Wales kind of taken care of as far as Henry I is concerned.
Fair enough.
And that's all that happened in that time period. No, I'm joking, but that's all I found out from my research on websites that are definitely aimed at primary school children, because that's my kind of level of history understanding. I'm like, don't try and explain all what's going on. Please present it to me in a way that an 8-year-old could understand.
Explain it to me in layman's terms.
Explain to me in a way someone who's old enough to get married to a German emperor could understand. So yeah, it's also St. Joseph's Day today. So happy St. Joseph's Day to me.
And all the other Josephs out there?
No, just me.
Right, they've...
Yes.
So Edinburgh chill with us now, obviously we own it. Or do they have do they kick off a bit?
It's full of Scottish rebels, so we need to go take it.
What's changed?
We don't have a particularly intimidating group of infantry, and the knights will be useless until we get in the wall. So we're gonna siege Edinburgh until they decide to come out. I think that'll give us the best possible chance of winning that one.
Right. I've got a question here. So this is Edinburgh still, like, Edinburgh still exists and it's under nobody's control because we went and killed basically all the faction leaders, but the people are still there, so they're not just going to go, yeah, we're English now because you killed our kings. They effectively become rebels in the game.
Yep, there's no one left to lead that faction, so now they are a rebel faction.
And I assume that works for like all factions. Like they just get that grey colour over the top of them, and they just like
unless
you occasionally.
So if we killed all those Scottish leaders in a siege of Edinburgh, and then we would have just taken Edinburgh at the end, and Scotland would have been eradicated. But we fought them outside the walls, so the soldiers that retreated went back to Edinburgh, and then Edinburgh's become a rebel faction now. So. But we'll take care of them in a few turns because we've got a very weak set of infantry to take the walls really and open up the city. So I'm not sure how infantry
obviously, yeah, because so obviously in the time between these episodes, I play my own save and try to sort of like replicate what I've learned on the streams, and
yes,
I had a wee question about all of this, and how do you like move everyone together? Because I had like units just like dundering, I mean like not in the battles, just outside. I was like trying to get people together, and then I was like clicking, and then everyone was just like fucking off in like different directions. Like, you know, the units don't move as one. Like if you click on a city now, it tells you who's in there, right?
Yeah.
And do you have to like click and select them all?
No, you just click the flag, yeah.
I was clicking the little dudes in the box. So then I'd click like Boss Man, whatever his name is, Rufus, and I'd click, and then he'd just nash off on his Todd. So
I guess when you're in the city, you might have to
see, so if you
or shift to select them all.
Yeah, so I lost about 7 turns just trying to get everyone in the same place. So I achieved very little. I did take Carnarvon though. I did fancy chinning them, because I was getting up to turn 17 or 18 because I just had to keep ending turns, because trying to get all the people to move together, like you said, you click on the flags, you don't click in this window because that clearly separates them. Obviously most turns was like, oh god, I've sent one like group of horsemen off to the other side of the country, but they're not with the other people, and then I'm trying to bring them all together and like amass an army. So there was about 7 turns of just the English army just pottering around the British Isles independent of their like the rest of their army. And then once I finally got them all together, then I was like, right, well they seem to be over near Carnarvon, because basically that was the like, I guess the rallying point I had to create for all my sporadic units that had got a bit lost. So then I just decided I was going to chin Carnarvon because I had tons of people, and I sent loads of horsemen in, and it worked. It worked a treat, even though I didn't have any way of getting into the city. No, I had some ladders, and I had some fun with that, because I left the ladders right at the start of the fight, and then had to watch people slowly go to get ladders. I was like, this fight was really exciting at the start, and then it became very boring as just like, you know, about 200 horsemen were just sat there chilling, waiting for like a group of guys to run like a half marathon to go get the bloody ladders, and then come back and then get in and then like open the doors to them or whatever, or get the battering ram and all this shit. So it hasn't gone well for me, to be fair. I haven't finished off the Scots, but next time, I think now that I know how to move the units together, it might make for a more coordinated attack on the Scots.
Well, it looks like Venice have been excommunicated before us, so
they should have just finished off the
going
Scots.
On around everywhere. Look at that, and everyone's building farms.
I did have a cheeky complaint about the game as well. Like, it doesn't tell you if things like still have stuff to do. There's like one thing I like in Civ where it'll be like this unit can do something. So if you like forget where something is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was sometimes I'd like skipped a turn. I'm like, oh yeah, I could have moved the princess, or I could have moved the what's his face, the dealer.
They added
did
that.
Did they improve that in later games?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Now, if you have any agents or generals or anyone who's not moved, it pulls it to your attention. It also says if like certain towns or cities have like building available, it flags it on the well, I think it's always flagged it on the map, but that's relatively easy. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to explain something here. We just got a message from the Council of Nobles that if we take Carnarvon, we get 2,500 gold.
This is like a wee mission.
I'm going to leave Edinburgh for now to the rebels, and I'm going to go see if we can get Carnarvon.
Move!
Because we get some gold.
Because we get some bonus for that.
So that's like that's 1 turn, 2, 3, 4, and we're gonna have to like attack it immediately. This might not even work out.
Did you say they had is there a time limit on it? You say, does it say in X turns?
Yeah, it often tells you like how many turns you're gonna have to do it. Let's attack these guys and see if we win. Oh, we did. Oh, did we just kill one of their leaders? Looks like
who's that dying in the sea?
They must have had. They must have been sending an army over from Denmark, and we've sunk the ship, so the entire army's been lost.
That's not what they want. Well, not what they want. I guess that's what we want. But
that worked out very well.
So are we at war with Denmark? When did that happen? Or
I don't remember.
Just, we constantly.
It was just like one turn. They just decided they were going to be at war with us. So I don't remember.
Is there like a diplomacy screen, a la Civ, where you can see who everyone is in? Oh. Okay, so where's enemies? Who's that over the? Who's the red people? Denmark.
That's Denmark.
Yeah.
And rebels, but I don't remember when they declared war on us. So they did that sneakily.
I know.
Yeah.
Not so great, Danes. Sorry. See you later.
Gonna skip some turns because we're just building stuff and waiting to get to Carnarvon now. And let's hopefully get there when we can. Oh. More brides. Sure, Robert.
Do we want this?
You can have a wife.
I thought you had a wife, or do they not?
He did.
How do you see who's got what?
That's back in here in the family tree. Now everyone's married off.
Now,
bloody hell.
I know.
Oh, getting on a bit, aren't they?
Now I know this game's like 2006, but surely they could have different artwork for more women, right? There's only like 2 women in this whole game.
Yeah, no, they weren't great with stuff like that.
Representation.
Yeah.
Wish they'd never been born.
Now, obviously, like I wouldn't quibble too much about racial representation across our very English group of people, but you'd feel like the gender representation could be a little better if you're going to have a lot of female characters in. I know I don't want them to like design 1 million women for this game, but it's weird that in that family tree that there was only 2 different types of women and tons of different types of men.
Yeah. Oh, here we go.
Oh,
Roger's been born.
Oh, put him back. He's not done.
Oh, there's a rebel army's just appeared out of nowhere, so that's not great.
You think they've tootled out of somewhere? Maybe come down from Edinburgh.
Possibly. They at least lay siege, we're gonna be in some difficulty. Will they be able to make it?
Sire, my lord.
See, so this is the bit where you're separating them and taking them out of the town and that, because that's what was happening with me, but I didn't want that to happen. I wanted them to all move as one single unit.
An order. Come and get me, you coward. I will only.
How do you build spies as well? Because it kept telling me that I could do a whole like spy thing to see what someone's army was like, but I didn't know how to make a spy.
So it depends on what you've built in that town that allows you to build, or...
So there's like a building that lets you build spies, essentially.
Yeah, I think it's if you upgrade like to the brothel, I think the brothel's the thing that allows you to build spies.
Obviously,
church for priests, market for merchants.
Yeah. Because I guess spy school didn't exist at the time, or whatever the spy academy. Is that what it's called in like Bond and that? Does he attend spy academy or something like what's Bond's education? Like how did he get trained as a spy?
He's an orphan. He was brought up, I think. That's his backstory.
So he didn't. Well, he must have had some schooling, right?
He went to the London Academy for Spies.
Now, I feel you're being sarcastic, but I would believe that as well. That feels like a very Bond thing. Just yes, the London Academy for Spies, and it's like a really obvious building as well. And like you see everyone going in and
out. All right. Apparently, Portugal, Spain. Are we excommunicated?
The enemy has surrounded us.
Is that like? I know excommunication is when like you're not part of the church anymore. Like the Pope tells you to get lost, basically.
Yeah, but he also then probably encourages people to go like
everyone else to chin you. Yeah.
Go attack that filthy pagan faction up there. Not looking too good.
Because he had a lot of clout round then. Because for many, for a couple of thousand years, surely the church has had quite some power. But he could literally just tell people what he wanted to do. Like, yeah, he was effectively boss of all of this. Like, all of it.
Clout, as you say.
So he would just go, this country and this country. I don't like this country. And they were that bothered because I guess they were like, I want God on my side, right? I assume they. But there must have been some, like, diplomatic reasons as well, surely, because it can't just all have been through fear of God, because it's not like everything they were doing was like completely in line with scripture, was it? Like how much did they believe? That's what I want to know. Is that like...
I don't think that made any difference. I think people just used it as a way to conjure favor with their population, give them a reason to do things, to be the way they were. The church had a lot of power within countries as well as over countries, so you could curry favor with the church. You could
a lot of fingers and pies, and they had a lot of moolah and land as well, I guess. So they were effectively above the system and part of it as well. Like I assume most like feudal societies, like the landholders who were paying and were collecting and paying the tax on to the king or whoever was in charge, they were also part of the church, right? So I guess it's like the parish takes the money off the plebs or whatever, and then if the church isn't happy with them, the church will tell all the people to like not bother like paying you or something. So I guess you've got to keep them on your side, right?
Yes,
one would assume.
The church had a lot of sway with the population. It had a lot of sway within everywhere, to be honest. So
almost everywhere. I did see this game has the Moors in it. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, or whether it should be like less Geordian pronounced Moors or something. But
I think it would be Moors, wouldn't it? The Moors.
I don't know. It's got two O's in it, so my brain kind of goes a bit Geordian, says Moors. But either way, they weren't that bothered about what the church was telling them. To be fair, they weren't interested in the Pope.
Well, no, they were of an entirely different religion, weren't they? So
yeah, they were all Arab Muslims, weren't they? So
they answered to a different holy
council or whatever you call it.
Yeah, whatever you'd call it. All right. Tell you what, let's.
Is that the Caliphate? What's that? What's
Schiltrum was an anti-cavalry formation for spearmen, just so that no side could
stand in a circle.
Attacked. Yeah, it made them very resilient to cavalry attacks. I don't know if that's the right thing to do in this situation, but you know what? We'll give it a go. Hopefully they don't even get through the gate anyway. Let's leave work.
And this is the rebel dudes trying to chin us.
Yeah, I don't know why like that's not working. There we go. Remember, things were a lot more finicky back then with these games. Like they've sorted out some of these like quality of life improvements over the years, and like the game is way more intuitive now. The Total War
more streamlined, I guess.
Much better. Like, yeah, controlling and moving men around the map, the campaign map, everything is far better than it was. But this is still, I would say, an enjoyable game. They're obviously going
it's
up the middle.
Still playable.
Oh yeah, definitely. They're snappy uniforms, the Portuguese, haven't they? Blue and white number they've got going on.
I know. It looks like is it? I want to say is it? There's it. Is it not a Galician football team? No, I'm thinking around that neck of the woods.
Oh. Yeah, they're just
because you've got.
Right, we'll be okay.
Because it looks a bit like. No, is it Celta Vigo?
Oh yeah, yeah, they've got that colour.
They might have that cross as well. I'm looking them up. Celta Vigo are blue and white, like sky blue and white. And that is definitely around that neck of the woods. Don't know if they have. Well, they have a cross, but not potentially the same cross.
I would go see some people. Oh,
they have fiery arrows hit them.
Oh,
that's not how we saw that day going, is it?
It's not. He got up that morning thinking, you know what, I'm feeling really confident about this attack on this English castle. And then he got hit in the face with a burning arrow. And
hey, what, they got here quick, didn't they? I know every turn's like 2 years, but I can't feel we weren't excommunicated that long before.
I don't even know if we were. I think everyone's just peeved because maybe they have alliances with France and Scotland, and they're just like, you know what, the English have been a bit mean.
Give them steel.
Well, get used to it. You've got another like 700 years of it, 800, 900. You know what? You've got another 1,000 years of it. I think we're in like 1,110 at the moment in real life. The English are not going to get less bloodthirsty as time progresses.
No.
They're straight up them ladders, aren't they?
Can you shoot them or not?
I'll tell you what,
oh, yes you can. Oh yeah, get those knights.
Are they shooting like vertically? It looks like it's going to land back on them. So is that like a move they can do, or is that just the normal attack animation? Because that looked kind of special.
That's just because the angle, basically, being a bit skewy. What are they doing?
And we're the red bar on the bar of
we are. It's not looking phenomenal.
It doesn't look good for us. No.
Doesn't.
But it looked like that when I took on Carnarvon, and it didn't really matter because once like a few horsemen ran through people, it was all changed. So if we can keep them off for a bit with these arrows, because half of their army's useless.
I feel like we're slaughtering them on the walls, so if we can slow
well, that's
them
not
down,
went well, has it? That's not what we wanted. That was the opposite.
This is going well up here though, and we've still got archers, so we can still shoot, and the towers are shooting non-stop at them, so we've definitely
so the towers themselves are actually like sort of units as well, like automated units that just fight for you. Or they got actual people in them. Do you need to like
no, it's just automated.
St. George, save us. The enemy have the walls.
This is a bit annoying because like these guys are taking so long to get up here. I could have just dedicated this entire unit of spearmen somewhere else.
Yeah.
Oh god.
At
least take out some of those horsemen, guys. Come on. Oh dear. Oh,
Are these the spearmen, right? They were the ones in the circle formation, weren't they?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
At least they were. It doesn't look like they were. It doesn't look like it's working anymore.
No, I mean, I think they've done a reasonable job getting some of these horses, but
I think the red bars went up a little. It looks like it's building up. It might be.
Oh, you know what? This might. We've got them here.
That's finished. So you can get them out of there, right? Is that?
Yeah, get down there.
Is that a sensible decision?
Yes, off the walls.
Them as well.
You shoot down on them.
How much advantage do you get from like? I guess
up here as well.
Positioning. I know positioning is like part of it, but I mean like.
You get a pretty reasonable advantage. It's
So is it worth like sending them somewhere first and then clicking attack once they're on the right side? because when I was playing, I was just kind of like, I'll get these 4 units to all attack this one unit of theirs, and I'll just let them work out what side they want to attack from. Or is the game's not that smart, is it? Like, will they just attack from the side they arrive at and then just kind of carry on from there? Or will they really get into it and then it doesn't matter?
I think it just tends to like spread out. I mean, obviously these guys have, tell you what, deserve a commendation. They literally fought to the last man. I thought they would have broken ages ago. Right.
Of the idea that there was this one, there was a given moment where there was one guy who looked around and just saw all his comrades dead. I was like, well, I'm boned.
Right, we need to end this fight up here as soon as we possibly can.
So you're gonna rampage the horses through because they seem to like just run across things and kill them, right? That seems to be.
Yeah, I need these guys to break, and I need these archers to hurry the fuck up.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they've moved anywhere. I mean,
I don't know if the game's kind of glitched out a wee bit there.
Can they even get down from there? Is my question. I mean, do they just come down the towers?
Yeah, they just come down the towers. Yeah, they're running out of the tower right there.
Ah, yeah. So those are the guys. Maybe they had no pathfinding once the other guys entered the tower, because one unit came through the tower, didn't it, and made it downstairs and then started attacking. But the other guys just kind of stayed up there. Maybe when one unit was in the tower, it just went, I have no route there, so we'll just cancel the order or something.
Possibly. Right. Shoot at the unit.
Only intervention by the Almighty or a military genius can bring us victory from this.
Stop your whinging, man. We'll be alright. They're doing okay, just holding them off for a while. Hopefully these guys just get shot.
And the other guys have come down as well.
Yeah, this fight seems to be going reasonably well up here.
Are those smashed off, those guys? Is that just a big staircase? Is that what they brought? Just a big wooden staircase?
Siege tower, yeah. So
a siege tower is just a big wooden staircase that they just push up the wall and then they just walk up the stairs?
Pretty much.
Class. It's such a weird sort of... I mean, it's like the obvious idea. So you're just like, yep, we'll go everywhere with a portable staircase because everyone else has built really high walls. I mean, how is that so much better than a ladder? Is it because ladders are just like easily broken? I guess you just like go bang, ladder dead.
Yeah, it also keeps the men a lot safer on their way to the wall.
Right. Is that someone we don't want dead?
That's our leader, so that might cause a...
So are we all going to poo our pants now, is that?
Well, these guys have already pooped their pants. They have been flanked, though, in fairness, and not the best situation for them to be in. They're probably going to die. Come on, archers. Out of this situation, I know they've got their faction heir is over here, so I want to be shooting at their...
You want to just, like, rain arrows on them, hoping that it kills them, because then the... Is it the faction heir or the army heir? Because, I mean, I guess the rebels have it.
These aren't rebels, these are the Portuguese.
Oh god, yes. Sorry, we're just so you can kill one of the Portuguese princes, I guess.
Let's just shoot at them. I mean, I've probably put my guys in extreme danger here, but
it looks like they're going to get mopped up and killed anyway, aren't they? So it's like, if they're going to go down, they may as well go down killing the Prince of Portugal. You know, that old chestnut.
Or just get charged immediately and die.
Oh yeah, that's gonna... I've seen from my game that doesn't end well for
the enemy
units.
is no longer in command of the castle.
Wait, is that good that the enemy's no longer in control of the castle?
It's only briefly, yeah. We're running now.
Oh, but they're literally going to take it back.
They're going to win right now, yeah. There wasn't enough men left at this castle to defend it.
So, which castle is this?
Our enemy has command of
this
the castle.
is Caen, I think.
Ah, right. So yes, it's in France. So it's not like we're in the middle of York and it's getting taken from us. This is something we took from someone else.
Yeah. There we go. That's it. Once these guys break, that'll be the end of it. And there we go. Oh, did all right.
Hearing them talk, and they sound like the seagulls out of Finding Nemo.
Mine.
My castle, mine.
We'll see. Hang on, people who've...
Can you tell that one guy in the one unit to just run away? Oh no, he's dead. His unit is dead. His game is over.
Look at these two defending the castle. Go on, lads, get him.
Hey, they're not a good day for the people of Caen.
No.
No.
I didn't realise we were going to be declared like Spain, Portugal, and everyone else was going to declare war on us in a single turn.
No, it seemed, but like that's what gets. I mean, we took a few of them. Prince Alfonso. Yeah, we took a few down with us, didn't we? Like, it's not like they. Like that hurt them, right? But now
probably extremely extended as well. It doesn't really make strategic sense for them to have done that because they're going to be miles away from any reinforcements now.
Yeah, they should. Surely they should have took Rennes first. At least then it would be on like the edge of there. I mean, really, the Spanish would take it, right? Because I imagine they're crack on.
Apparently, our relations with them are very poor, but that's their fault for doing that. So.
Yeah, our relations are very poor with them because they invaded us.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel
relations were absolutely fine with them, actually.
I hadn't even thought about them. Hadn't even thought about Spain and Portugal. Maybe that's why they're upset with us. They're just like, you're not even thinking about us. Here we are on the Iberian Peninsula. You're just busy with the Scots and Welsh rebels, and not even a hello, not even some nice words from the Kingdom of England, saying I'm thinking about you, Spain and Portugal. Can you keep them pally? Not by sending them love letters or anything, but you know what I mean. Like, are there means to just like start like non-financial
payments and stuff?
Oh, so it is all financial. They're all about the money, are they?
Yeah, right. We are going to do this at night in the rain because then there's less chance for us to get set on fire, and the archers won't be as effective. And if there's one thing the Welsh are good at, it's shooting people with arrows.
To this day.
Right, you get.
I need to do more of this because I keep just having full-on fights where I don't get a plan, and then I'm just clicking everything and just panicking right at the start and going, "Oh, everyone charge!" So I've accidentally sent like 800 horsemen and no spearmen, so I guess we're charging them. That's how my fights are, at least on this. Is there any way to like make it easier to operate the siege equipment as well? Because the number of times I've started a fight and I'm like, right, put down the ladder, put down the battering ram, you need to get stuck in. And then I'm like, oh wait, no, now I need the battering ram back. Or is it just a case of like unequipping it and equipping it?
It's just unequipping it and equipping it.
So it didn't get better in later games. There wasn't like a clever way to somehow like move and like there's no way to tell them move with the stuff until it's time to fight, then drop the stuff. Like I felt that would be a useful option for the people carrying siege equipment, because I want them to move the siege equipment towards where I'm sieging, right? Like, you know, you want the ladders nearer the walls, and I want the tower, the battering ram nearer the gates and that kind of crack on.
Mm-hmm.
But there's not a way to like, you have to just manually tell them whether or not to carry the stuff and move it towards the end goal.
I don't really know what you mean.
Well, so when they fight, I don't want them holding a bunch of ladders. You know, I want them to like get rid of the ladders, but they don't do that automatically. So you've just got a bunch of guys with ladders looking stupid.
But you guys shouldn't be fighting at any point with the ladders.
Yeah, so I make them drop the ladders.
Right.
So so I want them to just do that automatically. Like, I feel that's like the only way. But I don't want them to leave the ladders right at the start of the battle either. I wish there was like, you know, what I want is some kind of like, when within a certain range, can you just drop the ladders and know you're ready for a fight? If you're about to get in a fight, just forget about the ladders. But until then, carry the ladders. Like, that's the kind of functionality I was wanting from it, and it wasn't offering that to me.
Right.
I didn't want to micromanage ladder carrying. Oh, yeah. So what you said about the Welsh and the arrows is sort of true, isn't it?
Oh yeah, Welsh like the shooty time.
Mm-hmm.
Right, let's all get a move.
This is a lovely beer I'm drinking, by the way.
What is it?
I don't know. I bought it because it had a big picture of pancakes on the can, and I'm like, let's see what this is all about. And it's called I think this might literally be called, this might be the name, or it might be an instruction, I can't tell. It just says, brush your teeth after this, sweetie. That might be the name of the beer. That might be its full name, but it's a caramel and maple syrup pancake pastry imperial stout. It's a lot of words, but it's just a very it's like a maple syrup stout.
Right.
Bloody love it. But it's one of these things that's too nice. It could end up very badly for everyone involved. On account of how nice and sweet it is. But my curiosity for the maple syrup looking beer can has paid off.
Nice.
But this attack on the Welsh doesn't look like it has. Are they the Welsh? I think
yeah.
I know I assume these are like historically accurate standards, not for the rebels because they just get their own standard, right? But I assume the reason all the standards are the way they are is because that's what they would have been at the time. There's a reason it's not the flag of England, it's the three lions, etc.
Yes.
They would have been the royal standards of the factions at the time. That battering ram did a number on that door, didn't it?
It worked. It's magic.
See, now at this point, you just like leave the battering ram, right?
Yep. Get in
and
there.
have you told them to do that, or once
they
it's
just
battered?
do it automatically.
See, if there was a little bit more automation to that, I wouldn't have to learn that F is drop siege equipment.
But I didn't do anything. It just dropped it.
Yeah, but on the way when there's people outside.
All right. Yeah. Well. Yeah. If they come out the walls, just drop this stuff immediately.
Yeah. But what if you want to get back in the walls? Then you need to pick it back up. It's a lot of picking up and putting down siege equipment, but I want more rampaging and general bloodshed.
Let's get everyone around here.
Their worth today. The enemy's walls belong to us now.
Yeah, so they don't they'll just gnash off over there. I saw they have like not health, but they have like wind. No, that's not the right way to put it. You know what I mean? Breath, I guess you'd call it. Like when I highlighted the units, I saw they have like a sort of like, you can't just have them like running for donks and hope that they'll be all right.
No.
Like the more inputs you give them, the more tired they get.
Yeah.
You think that's the case? Like you can't just keep telling a unit to just constantly fight throughout the battle and hope they'll be okay. Like there's a negative impact to having them constantly in action or constantly moving. You have to let them catch their breath, essentially.
Yeah, if you just keep running them over and over again, they'll get tired and they'll become a lot less effective.
Yeah, so they have stats. So I guess the green heart is that like sporting prowess, I guess, like how much they can run or how tired they are from running and stuff like that. Like not physical health or vitality.
If we continue like this, we will smash the enemy.
And then they have that like morale, which I guess is another stat that goes up and down based on how the battle's going.
Based on how the battle's going and what's happening.
And I assume when that depletes, that's when they break, right? When they're out of morale. That's like
essentially.
One of them said shaking. There we go.
What's happening here?
This is something because I'm playing with the tutorial, obviously the advice and all that kind of crack on my game, and I feel it could tell you a bit more about the actual like what's going on under the hood. Because obviously you know this game, and all I know about this game and the entire series for that matter is what you've told me and what the little tutorial lady tells you, and there is no point at which it actually goes, by the way, do you know you guys have like stamina, health, morale, and all this? Like, this is all stuff I just had to like find out from you or from just playing the game. And there's been, there's a lot of moments where like, well, if I'd known that, I wouldn't have done that, kind of thing. I assume later games have like a better like.
Well, you can leave the advisor on, and then that won't be a problem.
No, I've got her on. That's what I'm saying. But they don't tell you like half of this stuff. It was just I found it by hovering over the characters by not knowing how to move them around. when it, like, say every time you hover, it like has the little box come up. By hovering over, I was like, oh, it says he's warmed up. Oh, it says these guys are doing badly. Oh, it says these guys are likely to win that fight, etc., etc. Like none of that gets explained in this game, and I was just wondering if in later series like they've like looked into that and made it more like explicit, or are they like so far down the line that like anyone picking up a Total War game now knows exactly what they're in for?
No, I don't think they would have just decided like not to share a tutorial. There'll be something.
But I mean, are the tutorials more explicit in later games? Do you know, or are you?
I don't know. I've never. I've been playing this series for years. I don't listen to any.
So you skip all that crack on, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I did that with the latest Civ when I was playing that last week as well. Because in that one, it had a really good. I don't really call it in terms of like a game design feature in terms of the tutorial, and it said like it had the option of whether like I'm new to Civ or I'm new to Civ 6, and I was like, oh, that's a nice touch. So like,
right, yeah.
That's like I think most games should do that, where it's like, especially if they're in a series, any game in a long-standing series of games should ask if you know have that option. Like, I've played this game, or I've played several games from the series, or you know, because people who've played all the games up to that point will know what the crack on is, and they just want to know what the new features are, surely. So
yeah,
I was seeing that, I was like, oh, winner. I mean, very quickly I was like, you know what, I'll just learn by doing. They haven't, you know, I ended up turning it off, but knowing it was there at the start, where I was like, actually this is new in this game, and I'm like, oh, all right, I don't know about that. But then I was like, well, most of the core features are still the same, so I guess I'll just hope for the best and see if I make a massive mistake because there's been a huge change to the way the game plays out. I'll find out about it fairly sharpish, but everything else is going well, so it doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you know the campaign map on Total War, I imagine like in a later game, it won't matter if like a small feature's been changed in the battle system if you're already like dominating the entire world.
Yeah. Man, these guys are getting riddled.
Oh, that guy was stuck. That guy was just having a little wander and not actually getting anywhere.
Yeah, they're broken. Okay, everybody pile on in here now. Everybody shoot there. There's a lot of missiles going into this group.
Our men are winning the battle.
Yes,
it'd be proper funny if it was actual missiles, you know what I mean? Like modern like metal cased tiny rockets. I know you mean missiles by like launched objects, but
oh, here's the
one can but dream.
Leader dude right here. Do a bit side.
Is that the one like standing his ground?
He's doing a side shuffle.
The one crab walking.
Yeah. He's like, I fancy this, lads. So let's go. But then they get a certain distance and they're like, you know what? I don't fancy it anymore.
He's like, actually, you know, I sidestepped so I could see the bar. I saw the bar indicating how well this fight's going, and whoa, not good for us.
So I'm not a fan of it. Just not a fan of this fight, guys. Oi, get back, man. Throw your missiles. Oh, there we go. Now they're fighting to the death.
Yeah, I'd fight to the death for that. But yeah, I'm gonna get another one of them.
Let's charge in. Let's send the knights in. It's been a while. They probably want to have a bit of a scrap as well.
They've just been sat there doing out.
Didn't want to send them into all the spearmen. I didn't want to waste them unnecessarily, but here we go. Crunch. Oh!
That guy went bloody flying.
Uh-oh.
That was...
Peasants, that's fine. Get him.
That was a big hit. Few minor penalties for roughing for these guys, like.
My lord, our men are
I tell you what, this like rain of flaming arrows must look pretty dope in the later games.
Oh yeah, I mean
it looks quite impressive.
Is very much in our favor. If we remain true and
but just even the idea of like effects weren't that much of a thing. Like, you know, just the fact that the arrows had fire on them was probably quite cool at the time. Like, I remember seeing this kind of, like, you see this kind of evolution, don't you? Like, through games, like, I can remember, like, where you're like, look at these extra details. Like, every little extra detail was always like a big step. It's always in like the minutiae. You see the, especially in like the graphics arms race, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it's rare that there's something like, I guess, revolutionary in games. I mean, obviously every so often something comes along, but like, as much as you want to say like ray tracing and all this crack on like technical shite, it's like, yeah, it's really cool what's going on like under the hood, but we are just talking about lighting. Do you know what I mean? It's like the lighting looks cooler. Like it is, like the technology behind it is like massively impressive, but for like the player, it's like, light reflecting off water looks a bit more ripply and cool. It's like, it's not the same as going from like 2D to 3D, even though the technology for it is probably as impressive in terms of its change. But back in the, like, you know, back in the day, having like gone, you seen New Total War, like the some of the arrows have like fire on them. You're like, that is so cool. Like, please take my money right now. I've been waiting 20 years to finally see the flaming arrows of Welsh rebel archers.
Actually, there's a cool thing in this game. If you build certain buildings in certain locations, you can unlock like specialist units. So I believe if you keep upgrading the bowyer and the archery buildings in Nottingham, you do get Sherwood archers.
Right, and like Robin Hood.
Yeah, and if you keep building the bowyer in this one, you get access to longbowmen as the English, which is like, they're really good. You know, you put longbowmen in any castle or city to defend it, and you're gonna have a good.
I assume this is historically accurate as well. It's like,
yes, yeah, the English developed.
Obviously, Sherwood's from Nottingham anyway, but
that's more of probably a little bit of fancy, you know, a bit of fancifulness that they've put in the game. The whole Sherwood archers, you know, the nod to Robin Hood of.
Yeah, who may or may not have been real, may have been a collection of like folkloric tales.
But the idea
a lot of various stories that come together and make a sort of real person, at least in the minds of people, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. But the idea of obviously building up the English longbowman, that was
that existed and was
a very powerful,
pretty formidable unit from what I recall.
And slightly better than these peasant archers are going to be. So I'm going to go ahead and upgrade the bowyers wherever you can as the English.
Wasn't there a footballer called Bowyer? Like Lee Bowyer?
Lee Bowyer, yeah. Not a great archer.
Was he a powerful unit, though?
I mean, he was an angry sort of unit. I'm sure he could take care of himself, but
surely not one of these units you wouldn't want to meet on the battlefield, essentially.
Yeah, what's this dude doing attacking? He's got like nothing.
Do him. What is he Spanish?
Spanish, yeah. They declared war on us at the same time as
Captain Aluar is going to have a bad time.
I feel like this is a bad AI decision right now, but whatever. I'll take him on. Oh yeah, there's Crusader units as well.
This is sangria before this one. Sorry. This is a Crusader unit.
Yeah, this is a unit of Crusader Knights in the image there. You do get Crusader Knights, and they're actually dirt cheap when you go on a crusade, which is great.
Are they like super bonus units? So they like powerful units that get like a reduction if you are fighting a holy war.
Yeah, because their idea is like they want to just fight the war. They're not bothered about payment. So they'll join your army. But the other thing is, if you have Crusader units or you've built a Crusader army and you don't advance towards the area you're supposed to take as part of the crusade, they will start to flee your army and disband because you're not. So you can't just basically game the system, go on a crusade,
can't just have them run
build a hugely powerful army that for like nothing, and then
Crusaders,
and then don't go on the crusade. Like you will lose your army because they'll be like, hang on a minute.
Yeah, that sort of makes sense. I mean that I mean, you know. they are fighting for a potentially invisible cloud man, but it would be a bit silly for them to just be like, they have a limit. They must have a limit where they go, hang on, I thought we were going over here to kill heretics. What are we doing in Edinburgh?
I gave you like a dirt cheap price for my services because I thought we were going to wherever we're going to go.
I am a man of morals. I just want to kill people of other religions.
I kind of want these to go down forward. I don't really want to. If I destroy that battering ram, they'll maybe stop attacking. I want to kind of get them to attack.
You want to wipe them all out, yeah.
These aren't going to last 5 minutes, are
they? Do they have the logic of at least going, if they suffer heavy losses, going, it might be worth me time to not continue this war? Or
possibly.
I know this game's a bit older, but I know this is something that's been in Civilization for a long time, where like after you've been whooping a civilization for quite a while, they might start asking for peace treaties and stuff like that.
That definitely happens, and you can often get really good deals out of them for things like large payments.
You just, once you're whooping them, you're like, I want it all.
Yeah.
Freddie Mercury style. And I want it now.
That's exactly it.
See, they're much better with ladders than I am. I mean, it's not going well for them, but it seemed to take my dudes ages to get the ladders up to
if we remain true and steadfast, victory will be ours.
Where they needed them.
Shoot them. Oh.
I know they're called mailed knights because of the chainmail, right? But I did think like they'd been sent in the post. You know what I mean? Like,
your mailed knights have arrived. Ooh.
Excellent. This was on next day delivery. They also have something called jinetes, which I don't know what they are, but they sound cool.
Cavalry. Sorry, they're all just going to get wiped out here anyway.
I think there's a beer over here in Spain called jinetes. I'm gonna have to check that out. Might be the. Sure. No, these are. Well, there's your fact. So jinete is Spanish for horseman, especially in the context of light cavalry.
There you go.
But I think this might be the term that they use for. Might be the term they use for jockeys as well. Not sure. I don't follow much horse racing, at least. Neither in Spain nor here, and in most cases I've only heard the term caballero for like horseman, as in someone, someone who is, I was going to say involved with a horse. That's not the right term, but you know what I mean.
Sounds a little bit weird.
Yes, it does. Not as weird as selling off your 8-year-old daughter as the wife of a German emperor, but
no,
it's still up there. It's very medieval, being involved with a horse. But no, the root of the word comes from horse, in the same way our word for horseman has the word horse in it, if you get me. Like the Spanish word for horse is in the term caballero, essentially. It's the root of the word.
Yes.
But jinete, I've not seen. Written. Oh, there's one called Jinetes del Apocalipsis, which is like jinetes of the apocalypse, which I bet are proper dope. Or massively disappointing. It's going to be one or the other. It's not going to be one thing where you're like, the Jinetes del Apocalipsis. It makes sense. It's the horsemen of the apocalypse. Good day. Yeah, that makes so much more sense. Yeah, they are dope, and you should get some of them, Jimmy. Get some Jinetes del Apocalipsis.
Look at this guy's taking a hail of arrows.
That he might be war. That might be one of the.
Get him.
Nah, he's gone, man. He's gone.
Oh, no, he hasn't.
Oh, that dude got. So he's probably death, right? As the horseman of the apocalypse.
Get him. Charge. Shoot these guys. I don't know why they're coming back. It's like, the situation's progressively gotten worse for us, but you know what? Let's turn around, run back into the hail of archer fire, and have another go?
Behold
Nah.
how our cowardly foe
Or not.
runs. It's time to... All of Christendom will be awed
52
by the...
Now, you just ended the battle because you can't be arsed chasing down like the 3 people and you don't think they're going to
not-
rally.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to go chasing after them. You know what? They're getting executed as well. Maybe the rebel army will take them out as well. The rebel army, I might just fancy a scrap. But yep. Oh, and they're coming for me now
The
as well.
enemy lays siege, sire.
Yeah.
We must prevail.
Oh, I got some.
Oh, there, 15 turns. Yeah, there was the time limit on your Majigger.
Yeah. Right. Let's get a bowyer at Nottingham because.
Right, I'm sorry, but does Humphrey of Northampton not sound like a massive nerd? And I know we're sat here streaming Medieval 2 Total War, so who wants to throw the first nerd stone, you know?
Oh yeah, the heretics. I forgot about these
Once
people.
I convert you, you'll...
I guess they're people that the Pope hates.
They like.
It matters not how pious you are. Your idol is false.
What? Oh, you can burn heretics? Hang on. So
Are they
heretics can.
high stakes? Sorry.
Heretics can like turn your priests against you and turn your generals against you.
And I guess does it reduce? Do they reduce the like Catholicism in the area or whatever religion you are?
Possibly. But if I get my
Are they,
cardinal or priest to go after the heretic, we can also burn him at the stake, and we get Pope points for that. And
I
piety
hope they're
points.
called Pope points.
I wish they were
Just
called
like-
Pope points. That's a clear like error that they made in making this game.
I just love the idea that Pope points is like, I don't know, like your Tesco club card or something.
It can be
After you
redeemed
get
for more
100
Pope points.
After you get 100 Pope points,
my
you get
gosh.
like a 6 roll of toilet paper or something. Or 10% off when you buy super noodles.
Oh, someone died. Oh,
What?
he's old, so he died.
Oh, right. God, I was gonna say, I was like, I felt we were doing well. Yeah, I guess they're not.
There we go. Pope's like, you know what? You guys are okay by my standards.
Now
As
that
I've stopped
William's
fighting
dead,
Scotland, I'm okay with his.
God's servant.
I guess that was our like monthly club card statement from the Pope.
Yeah, he's like, you know
Just
what?
going, here's the points you've accrued this month.
Admiring the enemy, eh?
Why is he so
You know what? I
creepy?
thought that said.
Oh, hang on.
I thought that said sheep, and then I saw the little sail, and I thought it was a sheep.
Or be gone.
It said ships.
Are you trying to give me an order?
Nah, they've got nothing in there.
Engage me. Or
Are they
be
Spaniards or
gone.
Portuguese?
Fleet
The
That's
You
the
will have to
Admiral
fight
Olaf
hard
is the
for
Dane,
these waters.
and
Oh, they're
Admiral
Danes talking, I was
Augusto
gonna
is the Spanish guy.
Since I
Yeah,
love my
because what I've noticed in this game is they are. Well, as I mentioned earlier, with the female characters in this, the representation isn't great, but the accents are funny, aren't they? They're like,
They've got some crack.
I
The
feel-
German ones are my favourite. The German ones are.
I feel they've got
immense.
someone someone in the office who's
My liege.
pretty good at
We must
accents.
make a stand. We are besieged.
You know, they just.
dear.
I mean, this is back in 2006. This is a
Honor
British
and
made game.
glory await
Yeah,
England
they're
men.
based down in Horsham, I believe, Creative Assembly.
Right. Yeah. So I'm just wondering if they were like, Dave, you can do a good accent, right? You watched the Fast show growing up, didn't you? You know the crack on. Can you do a Spanish accent and a French accent?
He
He's
was
like,
a Spanish, would you, Dave? Oh,
Yeah.
go on.
because that was
Just the
like,
Rebels Italians, right? Okay.
some of these had me crying. I was like, it's almost like, is there a point where it can be so bad that it just can't even be racist? Do you know what I mean? Like you're clearly not trying hard enough. Is that like a logical thing that can happen? Like, does it go full circle? Is it like, is it less racist the more accurately you do the representation?
I've no idea.
Like,
Is
There's
it
that Futurama
inherently
joke.
racist to
do an accent?
do an accent? That's
Or is it
another question.
or is it linguist? Like,
Because, like, you know, we all take the mick out of each other for our regional dialects and things all the time. It's just
well, maybe it's. I always think it is down to the perception of it, because
the context in which you're doing it as well. Like if you're,
I think context is
like
all of it.
Being mean to someone, and if you are just being silly. But then obviously, I guess it comes into how that person individually takes it. Yeah, there's something. Well, actually, I don't like those comments. So you're like, all right, okay, fair enough. I'll stop saying them.
I mean, if it's just, I feel if it's just an observation, like I was saying about how I pronounce Moors when it might be Moors. I mean, I'm fairly certain they never called themselves the Moors. If they did, it was like, you know, it was in Arabic, so I would assume in Arabic. Potentially, like, what they used to refer to themselves, the word they used is probably not pronounced Moors or Moors.
Yeah.
Even if it's somewhat related. I mean, Jesus, we say Germany, and like, that's not that's nowhere near what they call their country. You know, they call it Deutschland or whatever. But we call the Dutch because of like some kind of mistake with Deutsch, and they're not from Germany. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And Pennsylvania Dutch is that the language, you know, spoken by like early German settlers to the Americas. That is a variation of German. That's not a variation of Dutch. That's English people here and the people saying we speak Deutsch, and they're like, Dutch, yeah, all right, cool. Now it's called Pennsylvania Dutch, but it's not Dutch at all. So, you know, it's like there's a certain point where you're like, look, we're all just saying words here, and there's no harm meant by it. I mean, you know the crack on. I was gonna say lass, your wife is not a Geordie.
She is not.
My lass isn't a Geordie. You know, there have been moments where I'm sure both of us have made fun of their accents and they've made fun of ours. And I'm sure, well, we've both lived to tell the tale.
Survived, yeah.
Both survived and lived to tell the tale. Because surviving is after they make fun of our accent. Yeah, I survived. After making fun of their accent, lived to tell the tale, I believe.
Yeah.
You know what? No, it's like I meant nothing by it. You know, it was just to be funny. It's funny and interesting. Our differences are interesting and should be celebrated. And even if that is for comic effect, I think, you know, we should go with that.
Blast their eyes. The enemy's ram is through our gates.
No one's saying that a way one person says something is inherently better. If that's what you're doing, then you're a dick.
Yes, yeah, that's, you know, that's different.
When people say you're saying it wrong, that's different. That's what boils my piss when someone's like, that's not how you say it because you said it in a Geordie accent. I'm like, well, it is how we say it, and actually where I'm from, it's generally agreed upon that's a fine, acceptable way to say it. And if you were to come to Newcastle and say it in the way you say it, we'd still understand it. So that's also an acceptable way to say it. It's just more commonly said in this way where I'm from and that way where you're from. There you go. End of. Like, I won't, you know, it's, I'll definitely get into a big linguistic rage or rant about it, but you can't tell people how to speak a language. That's not how language works. People have tried and people have failed. If it worked, we'd all still speak whatever the first language was. People will make mistakes and change it. Yeah, it just changes. It changes and people use it differently and slightly differently. So, you know, if you sort of understand each other, you're probably speaking the same language. If you don't, you're probably speaking different languages. Yeah. But the number of times people have tried to control it, get them national. Yeah.
Just run down as many of these as you can. I don't want these rebels banging at the door again.
Send them packing. Yeah. Oh. If these lot were celebrating each other's differences, wouldn't be having this problem, would they?
Nope.
If they were like, you know what?
An evening of jovial banter went too far.
This is when someone's had that 1 pint too many. Yeah. And what was one, you know, when it was a joke for a very long time. The whole evening, this was the joke of the evening. This was the in joke, and then suddenly someone's had that pint that's pushed them over the edge. And they're suddenly going to start taking offense at the thing that they've been laughing about all evening because their frame of mind has changed through drink.
Yeah.
Like, that's that's such a great. Well, it's not a great moment. It's terrible, obviously, but it's funny how our primitive monkey brains work, isn't it? Where it's like, dude, why is this joke winding you up now when like you were making the same one about 2 hours ago before you had your like 8th pint?
Yeah.
You were all for the bants after 7 pints, but after 8 you were apparently like you weren't up for jokes
at that
anymore.
Point. It's like, nah, I'm not having it anymore. I've reached my limit of how much bants I'm going to be willing to take
all
off
of
here.
Christendom will be all
I do like when
when
like big lads who are like supposed to be like absolute bants get so drunk that they like go in a huff, which is like almost like
an honorable,
the opposite of what they think is really manly, if you get me. Like, have you seen like, you know, big steely unemotional looking men in a huff after a load of drink? It's like, obviously the emotions they're feeling are very real to them at the moment, but it's very funny that they started the night as like a tough guy who doesn't cry, you know, and that's like the whole persona. And then like at the taxi rank at like closing time, there's this like absolutely hench motherfucker who was like, you know, smashing cans into his forehead like 2 hours ago. Now he's sat down crying because like his ex won't answer his calls or something funny like that.
Yeah. This is a cool thing in the game, by the way. I forgot about. Occasionally it like shares a little bit of like historical context, but from the viewpoint of if you were alive at that time. So instead of saying like, oh, this is when
it's in present tense.
You know, it's like it's almost like, oh, this is cool. This is just
create a miracle mill that requires no stream or river to power. A man has found a way to let. Have they invented windmills?
Basically, that's what this is talking about. Yeah.
A man has found a way to let the very winds themselves drive massive mill mechanisms simply by catching it in sails on beams of wood. Yeah, never. Actually, you know what? I still don't understand how windmills work because they don't look like I get how like those big pinwheel ecological things work. You know, like wind power, because you can see like the curvature of, but windmills, like the ones in the intro to Thomas the Tank Engine, aren't like aerodynamically shaped. If you get me, they just look like big lattices. They look like you'd like grow vines up them or whatever.
They're at an angle, aren't they? They're all like
right.
The actual veins of the thing are like at a slight angle, so that when the wind
because I always see them face on, so they always look flat on. Do you know?
Yeah, they're not flat on. They're always at a slight angle, and I'm not sure if those angles can be shifted and moved by moving the.
They probably can.
Wooden
Yeah,
panels
they'll
within
tilt
them as well. So it's
yeah,
pretty clever.
All right, yeah, it is, and a great addition to that opening scene of Thomas the Tank Engine. Just the intro as he's tootling along.
Intro, that isn't it? Just I say like one of the things I actually went back and like really appreciated about that program years later was just how detailed and good, like well put together the actual sets were. Like,
have you seen the behind the scenes of the sets where like the sets are like 8 foot tall and there's this whole like viaduct and a bridge and they're tootling a little train over it? It's mad.
Did not give like that much of a like thought to it back when, but as an older person, you can go back and maybe appreciate those things a little bit more. Right, hang on, I need to remember what. We're probably going to end it fairly soon, but I do want to... So that builds more tradable things. That is more tradable things. And this is... Right, so that's more military. I don't know if you can build all 3 of them either.
How do you open this window? Because
this little one down here, the construction window at the bottom.
No, but the thing to the left where it tells you what it is, because I've had
right-click on it.
That would be handy, because I've just been like just building shit and hoping it works. I had no idea the bordello or brothel would make spies. I just thought we're at war, people might be tense.
Yeah.
Some of the local fellas that I keep conscripting into my army might need a way to unwind and spend some of that money I'm paying them to fight in my wars. So I thought, build them a whorehouse.
The mines are pretty good because the mines give you quite a bit of income. But I've already built the first level of mines, so I'm gonna
not for the same reasons as the bordello, obviously.
No. Right, hang on. Nottingham under attack. What's happening?
Just love the idea of the army guys being like, hey, what a day. Right, I'm going down the mines. See you later. Just need some solitude. Need to unwind.
Just have a bit of relax. Right, get the upgrade.
Is the route on island, by the way? Because obviously it was Paddy's Day this week, and I was wondering if
there's no faction. I think they're just rebels. No.
Yeah, that's a shame. Because I was reading proper history stuff about their kings over there, where they were having big fights.
Mythical stories and stuff as well. The Irish, there's some really cool.
Well, not even the actual. I mean, is it mythology if it's real? Like.
No, I know there's some cool history as well, but like they have some really cool myths over there.
Oh yeah. Well, the St. Patrick thing with the snakes is technically not even canon. So, you did drive out snakes.
Priest there, actually, I think.
What?
Our priest has just been converted to a heretic. Yep, Edward of Ashwell's decided to turn heretic down there. Dick. Right.
And Humphrey of Northampton is collecting stamps.
Yeah, I think we'll leave this battle until next time. So we're under siege from the Danes now. So we're at war with Spain, Portugal, Denmark. France aren't that happy with us, and there's a fair number of rebels knocking around as well. So, typical English history, really, just at war with everybody, and no one's really that happy. So, yeah.
What have we achieved this time round? Because I feel like we've suffered losses. I mean, did we take?
We took Carnarvon.
We took Carnarvon, but we lost.
We lost Caen. We did defend.
We did.
We defended Rennes twice.
Rennes. Yeah.
And we're just basically trying to consolidate now. If we can beat these guys back, clear this area out a little bit. Hang on, are we at war with France now? Anyway, I'm going to have to send the Cardinal down here to burn these heretics as well, otherwise they're going to start causing a problem. Built up a larger navy as well, just to defend invasion fleets coming over. We can sink them on the way over. So that's going to be
which I guess is useful now that we're at war with so many people.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to build this fleet up down here, then leave the fleet up here. So every time the Danes try and send an army over, I'll just sink it before it gets there. And then we'll try and take over. We'll sort the problem out down here, and then we'll try and take over Dublin next.
But and we're currently in 1132 as well, according to the turn numbers. Apparently, every turn takes 2 years in this game, even though the seasons change, which doesn't make much sense. But it's currently 1132, so I'll look into what should have happened if we weren't currently fighting everyone, and I'll have that for you next time. The important historical events from 1114 to 1132. See if it went like that in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember being at war with all of them, but I would also believe it if someone told me, did you know England in the early 12th century was at war with everyone? I'd be like, yeah, I can see that. Yeah. I can see that happening.
Feasible. And you can check up and see if there was a Humphrey of Northampton knocking around as well.
I mean, definitely, but a famous one? I don't know. I mean, I feel like there was enough people in Northampton that one of them would have been called Humphrey. Whether he was a famous general who fought off Captain Henrik of Denmark, that would be, you know what, I really hope that in my research I find a Humphrey of Northampton who fought off a Captain Henrik of Denmark.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, I doubt it. I wouldn't put money on it, but if it does happen, you owe me a drink. Or if it has happened, I don't know the conditional tense for this. If it had happened, I don't know. If this was real, then you owe us a drink, Jim.
Fair enough. Right, yo. So yeah, thanks everyone for joining us. Thanks for watching again. If you want to check us out, we're on Twitch, we're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, pretty much everywhere. YouTube. We've got a podcast. So I'm sure there are different ways you can engage with us, and depend on how you like to consume your content. So until next time, it's goodbye from Jimmy.
Goodbye from Joe.
Yeah, goodbye from Joe, and we will see you next time when we try and take over a little bit more of the medieval world. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Right.